Welcome to Cousins Gymnasium. You're watching JumboCast, and do we have a treat for you today? It's installment number 1 in the NESCAC men's basketball playoff. You're watching the number 3 Tufts University Jumbos face off at home against the number 6 Williams College Eves just as the whistles blow on two other first-round matchups in Middletown, Connecticut, and Clinton, New York. Tufts enters the playoffs ranked number 9 in the nation in MPI after a 20-4 regular season. Williams, meanwhile, 15 wins and 9 losses for the national number 5 spot coming into today. We're excited to present you with what should be high-octane, no-holds-barred basketball. I'm David Latham, and joining me to cover the beautiful game on color commentary are my senior compatriots and former JumboCast numero uno y numero dos, Riley Daniel and Jared Cullen. Riley, take us on a tour around the NESCAC bracket as the playoff kicks off.
My pleasure, David. Thank you for joining me here. As you can see in this top right corner, we have the matchup here in Medford. And you look around, Trinity, they play host to the Colby College Mules. Hamilton, you mentioned in Clinton, New York, will be playing host to the Conn College Camels. And the team that everyone's trying to gun for, the number 1 team in the country, the Wesleyan College Cardinals, hosting Amherst as a skew of teams held up at 4 and 6 to get those last 3 spots into the tournament.
Yeah, for those of you who might not know, let's go over how tiebreakers work in the NESCAC because they are relevant today. Tufts comes in at the 3 seed. They were tied second with Trinity at an 8-2 conference record, and then one tiebreaker is your head-to-head matchup. Tufts lost that one in what was definitely a low point of the season, 45-81. Meanwhile, for Williams, Riley, we talked about this before the game. Pretty rare to come in at the 6th seed with 6 losses. That hasn't happened in the NESCAC since 2012, 2013. They were tied at 6 with Colby and Amherst. The first tiebreaker is your head-to-head matchups, but all teams were 1-1 in that sort of three-team round robin. So then it goes to your record against the top 4 teams. Those were Wesleyan, Trinity, Tufts, and Hamilton. Colby and Amherst both could not get a win against any of them. Williams, however, got 1 win in that game over Trinity, the team that took Tufts down in their tiebreakers. So that was a 56-51 hard-earned win for them. Now, Jared, talk me through, as you've got a few minutes left before tip-off, the keys to the game for both sides.
Thank you, David. So glad to be here after what's been a really phenomenal regular season. Coming into the day, looking at what Tufts needs to do to win. They are the favorites coming into this game. You look at that tiebreaker, it's a bit of a funny situation that got Williams here in the first place. Not the case for Tufts. They have been that team all season long. The first thing they're going to need to do to get out of here with a win is just get their big man, Josh Bernstein, involved. He's coming off pretty inarguably his worst game of the season, only 1 point against Bates last weekend. And again, that is a game that they won, but it's a game that went to overtime against a far inferior opponent. I like to look at benchmarks, and Bernstein getting his numbers is one of those benchmarks. The team is undefeated when he records 10 rebounds or more or 10 points or more. In all 4 losses this season, Bernstein less than 10 points, 10 rebounds. He needs to be involved. Can't let him get game planned out of to the game tonight. Second, you want to play that zone to your advantage. Tufts has been wreaking havoc last couple weeks, dropping into a 3-2 zone and forcing turnovers. Use it and use it wisely because it's clearly a weapon against some of these teams in the NESCAC that just don't know how to respond. And then lastly, physicality is going to go a long way today. This Tufts team, they averaged 13 made free throws and wins, and they averaged 6.75 free throws made in their losses. They go as their physicality goes. Now for Williams, it's a similar story. Williams is going to need to play physical as well. I put that for both teams just because I think the team that plays stronger in the paint in this game, that gets to the line more, that's willing to put their body on the line, that's going to be a team that gets out of here with a win. And I want to see Williams win the three-point battle. This Tufts team, not their strong suit, but Williams, they have 3 guys with over 20 made threes. Tufts only has 2. They have 2 guys with over 30 made threes. Tufts only has 1. Three-point shooting isn't Tufts' strong suit. If you can get a margin in your advantage in that facet of the game, you have a shot. And then lastly, you got to play disciplined. You got to take care of the ball. You cannot give this Tufts team easy fast break opportunities. We saw James Marakis last week pretty much single-handedly dominate in the second half. Turnover, fast break, turnover, fast break. This game will be over quickly if Williams gives those over to Tufts.
Thanks, Jared. We're going to rise now for the national anthem, but we'll be right back with your starting lineups.
Last gleaming, who my stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. On the ramparts we watched, wildly streaming, in for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And welcome back. Now we'll get our starting lineups for these teams. Coming out first for Williams is number 4, the freshman on this starting group, Aiden Yates. We've seen some solid three-point shooting from him this season. We'll go over that. Number 11, it's Alex Lee. Number 12, Brandon Ruffley. Number 22, Hudson Hanson. And last but not least, it'll be number 25, Evan Glatzer. This is a starting group with a lot of seniority. Lee, Ruffley, Hanson, and Glatzer, all upperclassmen. The exception, of course, the freshman who subbed in around halfway through the season, the starting group for Noah Dinkins, Adam Yates.
Yeah, I think the other shared trait among that 5, they can all shoot. This is a Williams team that has the ability to go 5 out, stretch the jumbos, and they're going to have to be alert defensively with this starting unit.
And then for Tufts, it's, of course, number 2, the junior James Marakis. He's a guy who can get that hot hand in a hurry. Speaking of hot hands, number 3, Dylan Riley, three-point specialist.
Yeah, I talked to Linton yesterday about Dylan Riley. He continued to reiterate what he had told us earlier in the year. He sees Dylan Riley as someone with all-American potential, who is a shutdown two-way player, who he is going to rely on in this postseason run.
And I think you almost forget that he's only a sophomore and is just kind of broken out in that starting role this season. Such a sharpshooter and definitely a guy that you can see a next step coming next season 100%.
He's only 19. It's like they said about Jason Tatum early in his career. Riley definitely a player with a lot of upside. The rest of your starting lineup is number 10, William Kennelly, Scott Jamesi, and Josh Bernstein.
I'm interested to see how the Jumbos handle this height differential with Kennelly on the floor and Marakis. They don't have as much height in their guards as they normally do. We'll see if Alex Lee and company can take advantage of that.
Yeah, the absence of John Medley, definitely a big one for Tufts. He'd been a mainstay in that starting lineup. One of the better passers in the league, one of the better passers on the team, a two-way guy. And without him in the lineup, it's been Kennelly who's moved in. He did a phenomenal job last week. We'll talk about that a little bit later today. But there's a lot of confidence in Kennelly, while you still have to fill a gap left by John Medley.
Yeah, you mentioned Kennelly's great last couple weeks. In his last 3 games, he's played 61 minutes, a plus 33 on the floor in that time.
Yeah, and we had an interview with Coach Linton the other day. If you missed it, he described Kennelly as a competitor who takes pride in his work on the defensive end of the basketball. Always been a strong point for him, but Coach Linton also emphasized the growth he's had on the offensive end as a player who can create his own chances. And this time he creates a chance for Dylan Riley right out of the gate. It's a 3-ball.
Trademark play. This Jumbo team loves to run that pin down to Riley coming off the high screen, and he makes no mistake about it.
Yates on the left wing. Lee winds up, passes it off to Ruffley. Another pass, spreading the ball. Glatzer, 3-ball. Nothing but air.
So the impact of Kennelly already apparent. He's diving on the ground, knocking away passes in the passing lane. He got an assist on the first offensive possession. And now let's see how they can use the threat of Riley to generate another type of open look here.
Yeah, Jared, if you get that 3 ball going early, you can draw the perimeter defenders out on their closeout, create space underneath. It works. And as if on cue, he hits a little splash to the head. It's James Maracus.
Yeah, you can see the unwillingness there from Aiden Yates to help on Maracas because Riley's keeping him in that corner.
And Maracas, not the most consistent three-point shooter, but never afraid to let it fly and hit one right there. Coach Linton loves to see this, and Kennelly already all over the defensive end.
And this is your dream start. What did we talk about? Kennelly feisty on the defensive end, pokes it away, and then gets in the passing lane. And Maracus, without a second thought.
This place is a rocking already.
And we talked about it all week coming into this week. Liam Kennelly is kind of a one-of-one kind of player. We liken him to Marcus Smart, a Boston legend, a guy who you hear about in gyms all over this state. And that's what Kennelly has been this season for the Jumbos. 39 steals. He leads the team. Already just picked up one, knocked away a ball on the first possession. Third most steals in the NESCAC. He had 6 steals versus Nichols, 5 last week versus Bates, 9 games of multiple steals. But really, the most important thing, he is always the scrappiest player on the court. He will dive for the loose ball. He will make the play as necessary. We are less than 2 minutes into this game, and his fingerprints are already all over this 8-0 Tufts lead. What a start for Liam Kennelly in his second start of the season.
And now the question becomes for this Williams team, how do they punch back? We saw when they were at home the first time these two teams met, they got out to a lead. The Jumbos hit them with a 33-1 run. Do they have what it takes to punch back against the Jumbo run?
Yeah, and Riley, I mean, in that run, it was really just going ice cold, over 15 from the field. They only had 3 free throws, and I believe around 16 minutes. Today, I think right now they need a shot to sort of reverse the momentum here, and Yates will be the one who looks to do it. Turn around on Riley. There it is.
And that's what you do at a good offense. You'll get punched in the face quick, but you come back, you don't get outside of your offense, and what you want is a high percentage shot, and that's what you get.
Maracus on the outside wants a screen from Bernstein. Demessi, 3-ball, and oh my goodness, Tufts out of the gate, red hot. The rim's got a magnet on it, and every shot is falling right now for the Jumbos.
Well, Jamesi might not be a volume three-point shooter. He is a very good one, shooting over 42% on the year. You cannot leave him that open and expect anything else to happen.
Yeah, we really talk about it every game, and that he doesn't really create his own three-point shots, and he's not hunting three-point shots, but he's very willing to take them when they're open, and because of that, almost all of his three-point shots are pretty much wide open, high percentage looks, and he's a good enough shooter to knock him down. Anyone over 40% from 3, no matter really what volume, is someone that you should be closing out on right there. Doesn't happen and extends the lead.
And you talked about his efficiency out there, the kind of shots he's getting. I mean, he really is just an efficiency player through and through, a guy who takes the right shots. Linton described him as, well, his quote was, "I wish every coach had the opportunity to coach a Scott Jamesi." The kind of guy who plays a really solid, hardworking, and effective brand of basketball. Hudson Hansen. Yates wants that 3-ball, and it's clean as can be. Aiden Yates.
Great play there from Hudson Hansen with the handoff, uses himself as a screen to allow Yates to fly off it, get the open look before Jamesi can contest.
And just over 120 attempts for him on the season. We know how much he wants that shot.
And it's a big shot for him to hit early. Last 2 games for Hansen, 7 points on 20 per game on 25% shooting overall. So always good to see one of your early ones go in the net and go from there.
Flatzer calling the shots across the timeline. Here's Hudson Hansen. Williams working it around the outside, looking for something. Hansen wants it on Jamesi. 1 fake, 2 fake. Outside. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Hansen dribbles to his right. Nothing. Spin move. Contact. No.
Great individual defense there from Scott Jamesi.
Maracus. Bernstein down low. Kicks back out. Maracus right in front of the Williams bench. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lightning round from Tufts.
And he's the tallest guy on the floor right now by a good 3 inches.
And 2 Jumbos hit the deck fighting for the ball. It'll stay with Williams.
Yeah, Williams now has a second to get it over the timeline before getting a 10-second. So the Jumbos are smart here. They will stay in a tight man, make them have to basically chuck one over the timeline.
And if you were worried about the Jumbos coming out with their foot off the gas pedal, that has not been an issue so far. The intensity is ratcheted up to 100 in here. Kennelly leading the way. I think because it was maybe possession changed. I'm not sure, Riley.
I would have thought the shot clock would have reset if possession had changed. I think the referees might have just missed that one in all the chaos on the floor.
Who's driving outside? Dinkins, one dribble, throws it up a millisecond too late, and shot clock violation, Jumbo ball.
And that was all Josh Bernstein on the defensive end. Does a great job staying in front of his man, walls it off, and then when they switch to the pick and roll, he hedges on the pick and takes a step back, nowhere for them to go, and a shot clock violation. Jumbo's looking locked in on both ends of the court right now. Williams is going to need to find an answer.
Jamesi with Porter on him. Maracus comes across the screen. Jamesi, 2 screens on Cooley now. Now he's got a wide open 3, doesn't want it. One dribble, drop off, Bernstein, hammer time.
And that's your offense just working perfectly in sync. Jamesi already hit an open 3, forces the closeout, and then cuts inside, and Bernstein takes advantage.
Ball movement been so good. 5 of the first 6 baskets for the Jumbo off assists.
Roughly blocked by Bernstein, drop off. Cooley blocked by Bernstein, but he got armed. 2 shots.
And even there with the foul, Josh Bernstein just such a menace on the defensive end. Williams getting absolutely nothing in the restricted area.
Yeah, already looking like a better matchup for Bernstein than we saw against the Bates team last week that we didn't expect maybe much of, but came in and really played the Jumbos hard. I think Bernstein likes this matchup on Brandon Roughly, and he looks really confident right now.
Yeah, and it's so beneficial to have a rim protector like Bernstein in the paint if you're a perimeter defender. That time we saw, I think it was Riley playing high, got beat by Cooley on the back door, but you've got that guy who's there to back you up.
And I'm interested to see what the Jumbo's rotation looks like today. So far, starters remain in the game. Don't expect them to go too deep in the bench, but last week we saw a lot of Quinn Kane without John Medley. Definitely a question mark as to what that bench rotation looks like during the playoffs.
Maracus drops it off. Porter got in the way. Tufts holds on to it. Bernstein on Roughly. 3 East defenders collapse, but it's a foul.
Bernstein got bailed out there with the reach. He's 7 feet tall. He should not be putting the ball on the ground.
But what I love to see is that he's standing there. He's calling for the ball. Give it to me. He has the confidence. He wants it. He knows he likes this matchup, and I think that's a good sign. Jamesi and Bernstein always in sync.
And on that play, Lee and Porter also came down. It was sort of a 3-man trap. If he can keep it high in survey, there's options. Drop low, Jamesi, nobody around, but a bucket, 2 points.
Great play there. Dylan Riley with the back pick. Jamesi comes right around it, as you see on the replay. Wide open. Maracus finds him for the easy 2.
Dickens at the elbow. Assessing his options. Catches Lee across the screen. Dickens, pump fake. Dickens to Dinkins. Cooley now. 3-ball. Rim, backboard, nothing.
Jumbo's doing a great job defensively, fighting over the top of screens, preventing Williams from getting those open looks they love.
Here's Kennelly down low. Outside, Maracus. NESCAC logo. And it's the first time Tufts has watched a 3 fall short all day. And Dinkins wanted a fast break. Riley tips it out.
So your first 2 subs entering the game for the Jumbos right now, it's going to be Zion Watt. It's going to be Truman Gettings. I don't think that is surprising. And then also you're going to see Quinn Kane, number 1, come into the game. So similar to last week, I think let the starters play maybe a little bit longer to start the game than Coach Litton usually does. But I think we'll see how long a leash these guys on the bench get. Truman Gettings coming off his best game of the season, both season high in minutes and points, 15 points in 28 minutes last week. We'll see if he can have a similar impact today.
Here's Cooley. Sees Yates off a Dickens screen. One dribble. Nice move by Yates, but it's no good. And Watt and Kennelly collide.
Just a bit unlucky there for Kennelly. Did a great job getting to the board. Unfortunately, ran into Zion Watt, as you said, David, and then fell onto Aiden Yates. I don't quite know how much Liam Kennelly knew about that.
And so it will be Eve's ball from under the basket.
Brandon Litton asking for an explanation from the side referee.
Yeah. It seems like the 2 Jumbos fouled each other.
Up, down, 3-ball. Short, front iron.
7 minutes in the game. That was Alex Lee's first shot attempt. He's their leading scorer. Gonna have to get him involved.
What 3-ball? And when it rains, it pours.
And that shot was pure. I mean, from our angle, just looking at the way he went up, it was going in. And his three-point shot, he's gained a lot of confidence as the season has gone on, and he's really become a weapon both offensively and defensively off of the bench.
Dickens drop off for Yates. Now he's got a double. And the foul is on Kane coming through the screen.
Jumbo's a ridiculous 6 for 7 from beyond the arc to start this game. And really, with the sole exception of the fact that they have 5 team fouls in 7 minutes, a dream start for Brendan Litton.
Jumbo is in the house. He's excited. 21-7 early Tufts lead. Hoping the Jumbos can stay hot from 3, but Williams, a good team in their own right.
Hansen dropped down to Glatzer, now facing a double. Jump ball. Watt tied it up with him. Glatzer now looking for something from the inbound. Cooley, his option of choice. Eves working it around now. Yates pulls up from way outside. Once again, denied by the front rim.
Williams got the Jumbos in rotation there, but great job from Kane and Kennelly rotating back to cover, preventing anyone from getting an open look.
Messi now didn't want Kane across the screen, down to Gettings instead. The senior pair on this left side. Gettings blocked. Chance 2. Rim. Messi brings it low. Swings it outside. Caught a lot of hands, and the last one was a Jumbo one, apparently.
No, it was not.
And the two referees discussing. The ball will go the other way.
I mean, the crowd section, which is basically on top of the referee at this point, letting him know what they saw.
They might be a little bit biased.
You think?
I wonder who they're rooting for. Hansen drops it off to Yates. Dribbles left around Messi. Hansen, spin move. 2 spin moves. Looking for something. Nice little baby hook. Can't make it count.
So good from Scott Genesi, making him earn every inch and then contesting the hook and getting the board himself.
I mean, give Hansen the credit. He got a good look off that second spin, pretty much open, but he's in the pressure cooker here in the Jumbo paint. Messi, 3-ball, wants another one. And no luck. A rare sight so far today, a Jumbo miss from 3-point land. And the foul is on Hansen, but here's the refs want it on the floor. It'll be out of bounds. Taken from out, rather.
And I think just like with the Jumbos, it's going to be interesting to see how this Williams rotation plays out as Bobby Stewart enters the game for the Jumbos. Wasn't sure how long we'd see Stewart, but for Williams, they have a very deep rotation. 11 guys this season, over 10 minutes per game. Even in close games, like a game against Bowdoin this season decided by less than 2 possessions, they went 10 deep. So we'll see if that stays the case here today.
Corner 3.
Bad foul there from Zion Watt. That's something that we've seen a little bit this year. He's such a good defender, but he is still young. And sometimes that ambition just gets in the way. He's a little too willing to contest those corner threes, often gets caught with the hand in the cookie jar.
And Dinkins, a 300 3-point shooter. Not an abysmal mark, but not exactly the kind of threat you need to be slapping on the arm when he gets an open shot from outside.
And not a great free throw shooter either. 12 of 23 on the season, 52.2%.
Perhaps part of his own lost logic.
I don't know if he was thinking about that when he went up, but it could be a happy accident, though. He
Give him the credit.
splits the first, too.
He's playing money ball. And it
Maybe-
pays off.
Maybe you'll take it.
Zion Watt maybe should declare himself a math major.
High IQ play.
And we got the Gettings Stewart lineup in the game. Always talk about that. Something we've seen before. Good chemistry between those two.
Maracus. Assessing options. Wants another 3. No. Gettings board. Tried to drop it back for Maracas, but Dinkins caught it in the passing lane, out of bounds.
And now you just have to wonder if this is a concerted game planning effort coming into today from the Jumbos that we're going to get our three-point shots up, or maybe just an adjustment to the way that Williams is playing them, knowing that Tufts is kind of an interior-centric team, but they are unafraid to let it fly so far.
And I think one of the best plays that demonstrates the power of the three ball so far was actually that play where Jamesi faked the three, drove right, and dropped it off for Bernstein. That's a shot you're maybe not closing on as hard if Tufts isn't as hot from outside. Roughly now. A purple and gold trying to get something going on this end of the court. Roughly now. Stewart on him. Turnaround, Jade.
Williams
Once
spent
again.
20 seconds trying to get Aiden Yates an open look. Got nothing. Had to settle with roughly taking the fadeaway Jay. And Brendan Litton very enthused by his defensive effort.
Maracas around the screen. Kane up top. Drops it off. And the Jumbos will reset. Swings across. Not really sure if that was headed for Watt or Kane, but it wound up being knocked out by Dinkins.
It was headed for Watt. It was a good split pass there from Maracas, but better hands there from Noah Dinkins.
And it's one of those kind of pretty easy to notice ways that Maracas has grown as a passer over the last several seasons. He's very comfortable with both hands, cross-court passes, in transition, and it's been really the next level to his game. He's already such a strong slasher, such a strong scorer.
Maracas around a Stewart screen. 2 seconds on the shot clock. Forced to huck it up. Almost went.
And just, I think, a little bit unaware of how much time was left on the shot clock until the crowd started yelling it out at the end of that possession.
Dinkins now wants a spin move on Stewart. Winds up almost in a split. Lee now on the outside. Driving left on Kennelly. Williams once again working it around, looking for an opportunity, and they are hard to come by. Roughly, jab step. Spin, backboard, nope.
2 consecutive possessions. The best shot Williams has been able to get is a fadeaway from Roughly.
Oh, James Maracas. Didn't get the finish there, but the left hand in and out on the right side of the court splits 2 defenders and goes straight to the rim. That is just such confidence in your handle and such confidence in your ability to get downhill. He has, again, we talk about it, he's this team's leading scorer. He's top 3 in the NESCAC points per game, and he just does it in a manner that is truly, truly impressive, and day out brings just kind of a different gear to this offense that most teams in NESCAC just don't have.
Not only the team's leading scorer leads all scorers here today, already in double figures with 11 now.
And so you see this rotation ends up with your starters back on the court, though Quinn Kane waiting to check in for Maracas, it seems like.
I actually think that's Lucas Schmidt.
Oh, excuse me.
It is.
Which is really fascinating considering he has kind of been out of the rotation in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Schmidt, 14 appearances this season, only averaged 5.1 minutes per game. Most of those were in garbage time, for lack of a better word. He's only 5 for 26 from the field on the season. That's 19%, but clearly faith from Coach Linton.
Lee, 3-ball, and that's what happens when you leave Alex Lee open from 3, a 409 shooter. One of their best options from outside, and he works through the screen there.
Yeah, that time Kennelly made the mistake of not fighting over the screen. Lee got an open look, and he's just too good of a shooter.
Lee, one of the most efficient shooters on this team from the free throw stripe and from the general field goal as well, as Schmidt's first shot finds front rim.
That's confidence, though. Come in the game, get the ball, get it up right away. Didn't get it to go, but that's what you want out of your guys who maybe haven't seen the floor in a little while.
And we spent a lot of time in this gym before games, and give credit to the freshman Lucas Schmidt, consistently one of the guys who's in here taking his warm-up shots really early before these games. Perhaps part of why he's in this lineup in the playoffs. Lee got a contact, but not a bucket. It's on Bernstein.
And then some extracurriculars as Lee, after he got up, seemed to make contact with Liam Kennelly. Jumbo's bench, especially Zion Watt, very upset about it, making their voices heard to the referees.
Yo, Jumbo just came by the JumboCast booth over here. We're big fans of his. Doesn't seem like the visibility in that suit is too good, though.
What suit?
Sorry. In those eyes.
Right. I don't know. They're pretty big.
Jumbos have definitely cooled down shooting. Started this one shooting 8 of 9 from the field. Since then, 1 for their last 7. The only good news for them is Williams is 1 for their last 10.
And we've seen this before. There have been a couple games this season where the Jumbos came out just on fire from three-point land. And in each of those games, they really did cool down pretty precipitously. And in those games, they did a great job of adjusting their game plan, going back to kind of that interior focused attack and keeping their lead too early today to tell if that will be the case.
Maracas has a Jamesi screen, goes left instead. Cooley not letting up an inch. Now it's Lee coming for a double. Hansen for a triple, and the ladder blocks it. Jamesi, second shot. Hansen, block again. And it's going to stay here. I believe the last touch was Jackson Ryan.
It was. Great job there by Scott Jamesi, and a really wise decision from Brendan Linton to call a timeout. Only 8 on the shot clock, so you want to make sure you can draw up a play to get your team a good look, because Williams is starting to find their groove a little bit.
And give the credit to Hudson Hansen, leading this team in blocks with 15. On that play, he gets one on the Jumbo's top scorers of the season. 1 for Jamesi, 1 for Maracas. A great play from him on that side of the ball.
Speaking of Hudson Hansen, actually, we're going to take a look here at the last time these two teams met in mid-January, and that Jumbo game, we talked about it. Williams got out to a really good start, 22-12 lead, and then the Jumbos just took off. A 22-2 run to end the first half as part of 30 straight points. They outshot Williams by 9 from the field. We're pretty even, 27 apiece from beyond the arc, but the real difference maker, that plus 13 for the Jumbos on the boards.
And I believe those 46 points, that's a season low for a Tufts opponent. That's the lowest scoring that Tufts has held an opponent to this season. We are 12 minutes plus into this one. Williams only has 13 points, so a similar level of defensive performance from the Jumbos so far. That game was a game of runs. Plenty of time left in this one for the Williams to come back and have a run of their own, but certainly interesting looking at how that game turned out.
Yeah, this has historically been a building the Eves have struggled in. Last year, it was their only regular season loss in a year in which they went 9-1, have not won in the Cousins confines since 2019.
And after that regular season matchup we just talked about, Eves coach Kevin App said that towards the second 10 minutes of the first half, they were still getting open looks, but then when those didn't go, the energy dropped a little bit, and that these players need to fight through in times like that. This, their second look at the Jumbos, they've come out down, and we'll see if they can take the lesson and build back in this matchup. Hansen drives right, pull up on Jamesi, uses the backboard to his advantage for 2.
Just realized me and Dylan Riley have the same pair of basketball sneakers. That's huge for me.
He's copying you, Jared.
I just bought him, actually, so I'm copying him.
Well, yeah, that was my insinuation. Maracas, spin move. Dump off. Kennelly, fake, real, no.
It's a legit move, though, from Kennelly. A little step back, and you get another possession out of it.
And a little bit of a reset on the clock now. They've got 13 seconds. Maracas around that Jamesi screen. Drop ball, backboard.
2 players working perfectly in sync. Maracas, this drop-off pass is a thing of beauty with the right hand, and then Jamesi sees 2 incoming and lays it up. Just a great finish from Jamesi, and the chemistry of this Tufts starting 5 every game is just something to behold.
And once again, we talked about sometimes it comes through on the stats for William Kennelly, but sometimes it doesn't. This is one of those plays. Looks like a bare bones turnover from Hudson Hansen, but really it's Kennelly in the passing lane, keeping Lee off the ball.
As far as I can tell, I don't believe the NESCAC records deflections as a statistic, but if they did, I have to imagine that Kennelly would be up there, if not first, in the top 3. It's where he's at with steals. It's something that is really noticeable when you watch. You can't always see it on the box score, but it's why we're calling him the NESCAC Marcus Smart.
Getting is now up top. Jumbos with a series of screens around the stripe. Jemesi, turn around. Oh, my goodness.
If that had gone in, this place would have exploded.
And
It doesn't look like a good shot, but it almost is for Scott Jemesi with the touch that he has.
roughly creating something. Glatzer driving baseline. Roughly's got a wide open 3-ball and no good. Back iron.
And that really sums up the rebounding game so far today. Jumbo's plus 10 on the boards in just 15 minutes.
And roughly, actually, the most effective shooter from the court in total for this Williams team at 5:08 from the field goal, but only a 2:19 3-point shooter. That one, generally not the shot he's looking for, but when you're that open, you're really left no choice. Riley around the screen, 3-ball, cash out.
Same play they opened the game with. You saw it coming, getting set to the screen. Riley flares off it, gets a wide open look, and he is in the zone.
And you're watching that, you think, all right, there's a close out there, and there is. But when you're catching the ball in rhythm and you're confident you hit your first 2 threes, it doesn't feel like there's a close out there. It doesn't feel contested. That might as well be an open 3. So now you look, Riley, 3 shots, 3 threes, 3 makes, and he's got 9 points.
And you can feel the impact of the fan section down here on Tufts' offensive end on these players. Everybody wants to get involved in the 3 action here in this first half.
Yeah, taking a look at the box score so far, it's really been all Jumbos. 33-15, obviously, your score, but you want to look at field goal percentage. The Jumbos, yeah, they're shooting 52%. Yeah, Williams is shooting 26.7, but the Jumbos have 8 more field goal attempts than Williams so far. That's been a pattern so far this season we talked about with Williams. They consistently get outshot and outpossessed by their opposing teams who just run them down. And then you look at the three-point battle, obviously, Tufts 7 of 13. They're leading there. And then all of this is kind of a product, as you talked about, of the rebounding discrepancy. 16-7 in favor of Tufts. 6 offensive rebounds in favor of Tufts to only 2. All of these things come together to give you an 18-point lead.
I think that, and the thing that I think jumps out the most to me, the assists. Jumbos have made 12 baskets. Only 2 of them have been when an individual has created their own shot. The other 10 have been off a feed. They are moving the ball around, getting open looks, and making their shots.
And not a huge sample size because Williams only has 4 made baskets, but only 1 of those was assisted. So off the bat, you can tell the difference in the offensive approach for both of these 2 teams.
Jumbo's going to go full court D here.
Watt, once again, we see him aggressive in those passing lanes. He gets a lot of deflections from there. Lee, 1 dribble. Kicks up top. Glatzer. Yates, 3-ball. Splash.
Big shot there for Aiden Yates just to stem the momentum.
And all of a sudden, this Cousins Gymnasium has gotten a lot quieter. Tufts still with a solid lead, but Williams looking to build off of that 3-ball from Yates. Drop down, Gettings. And a miscommunication between him and Jemesi, but they want a foul on Hansen for the contact underneath.
And I think you like the idea there anyways. Use the Riley shot to set up the drive for Gettings. He gets doubled, just tries to dump it off to Jemesi, and you have to think maybe the foul is what caused the errant pass.
Watt assessing his options. Riley. Jemesi outside the elbow. Watt back to Jemesi. From just beyond the block, no. And Hansen keeps it out. They'll say Jemesi touched it last.
That has really been the man-to-man fight so far in this first half. Hudson Hansen against Scott Jemesi, and those 2 just continue to brawl in the paint on both sides of the floor.
Yates up top. Once again, Williams looking for anything around the perimeter. Hansen. Yates wants a roughly screen, goes the other way though. Now has roughly outside. Lee, a shooter they'd rather see from there, and there's why. Bang, bang, chicken, Alex Lee.
I was going to say, into this possession, got to get Alex Lee more involved. Multiple threes in 14 games this season. He's a patient shooter, and he's taken a huge step forward this season. He only shot 28.3% from deep last year, but up over 40% this year. Already has 4 more threes this season than all of last year on 27 less attempts, as Maracas answers right back.
And anything you can do, says James Maracas. A little step back 3-ball. Once again, a 15-point difference between these 2 teams.
That is now James Maracas' 9th attempt from beyond the arc already today.
tosses it up for roughly. A little bit of contact and a bucket anyways.
Williams
Chance for three.
not looking to go away quietly, that's for sure. Getting really into more of a rhythm on the offensive end, using the pick and roll, using the backdoor screens to get into positions they like we saw last possession. A double team led to a kick out into a three, and here you flip it, go inside.
And that's a big play, not just because of the and one, but that's now a second personal on Truman Gettings, along with Josh Bernstein, who already has two, which is going to pose a question to Brendan Litton about his rotation with his big guys.
Yeah, one of the only places that sticks out on your stat sheet is an advantage for Williams so far is in drawing those fouls. 8 personal fouls against Jumbos to 3 for the Eafs. And they've made a count at the free throw line, 7 for 9 now.
Riley's first miss from deep on the game. He was 3 for 3 before that one.
12-point lead now for Tufts. Glatzer takes advantage of a miscommunication to be open on the baseline. Yates another 3 ball. This time it's around the rim and out.
And Yates, as we talked about, really not afraid to let it fly.
Hudson Hansen gets called for a foul there. Did not see what had happened, but the referee blew it dead immediately, and Truman Gettings wincing in a bit of pain.
Yeah, and that's the second foul now on Hansen. It was away from the ball. Not sure how they got caught up there.
Oh, no, my apologies. They're going to get Gettings with that.
Oh.
And that's really big because that's a third personal on Truman Gettings here in the first half.
And Hansen now knocks down the first free throw. And second one is good as well.
Yeah, clearly some kind of technical or intentional foul that gave Williams 2 free throws and the ball on an inbound that was originally Tufts' possession. So we're not exactly sure what happened there. Gettings hits the bench. He's upset. But now a swing towards Williams, and we have a 10-point game.
Yeah, and that is huge. To have the ball, to having one of your best big men underneath have 3 fouls. The other team has 2 free throws and a chance to bring it to single digits. Hansen finds roughly up top. Bernstein playing him way off. Here's Lee. Can't leave him off. Riley up top on him.
Jumbo's into the 3.
Wants a 3 anyways from way outside. And all of a sudden it's a ball game. Just 7 points between these teams as Williams gets 3 threes in a row.
So that's a huge swing for Williams. That's a 5-point possession, essentially. And now they're heating up from downtown, and we pretty much have a brand new ball game.
Maracas around a Bernstein screen. Spin, drive underneath. Cooley on him. Puts it up. Blocked by Roughly. Rebound Maracas. Outside. Jamesi, 3 of his own. No good.
Jumbo's starting to cool off rather precipitously.
Lee, a 3 ball, and once again, it's a bad foul on a 3. He hits the deck. That's the second time Tufts has given that up.
It's a heat check from Alex Lee. He just pulls up. He's been on fire, 3 for 4 from 3, and just a mistake, plain and simple, from Kennelly. Stepped up too far, and now 3 more free throws, and what a run for Williams to get this back into very manageable distance. If he hits all 3, it'll be a 1-possession game.
And Tufts, 2 chances on the stripe so far, while Williams shoots their 11th, 12th, and 13th free throws. Everywhere else on the stat sheet, this looks like a Tufts-dominated game, but Williams is drawing the contact where it counts and making them pay.
And that was one of my keys coming in. We had a very kind Tufts fan who came over and talked to us a couple weeks ago. He pointed it out to me, really. In all of Tufts' losses, it's those the free throw discrepancy, the inability to get physical and get the calls, whether you want to put it on the team, put it on the refs, either way, that has been the difference in those losses. And it's coming true again today, even though, as you said, everything else on the score sheet looks like it's going their way. If you get out physical and you get outshot at the free throw line, it's hard to make that up.
And Tufts, 50% from 3. Williams now is 46% from 3. You're not going to see a much better two-way three-point shooting game than this one.
And some major problems here with the scoreboard. Scoreboard showing 36-33.
That's correct, right?
It's 36-32 as far
He
as
had
I have it.
29 before those free throws.
Yeah, I've seen 36-32 on the scorebook. It was 36-29, and then he hit 2 free throws. So
3 free throws, but yeah, still.
See if that adjusts.
Bernstein, screen from Maracas. Wants another three ball. No.
And so this is the part you're dealing with some attrition, you're dealing with some pressure, and you got to adjust. The three-point shot was fine at the start of the game. Right now, it's not. What do you do as a coach? What do you do as an offense to move in a direction where you can reinstill some confidence in what you're doing?
17-3 run for the Eafs in the last 5 minutes.
And this is looking like a complete reversal of that regular season game so far. Roughly assessing options. It's a pump fake that Bernstein won't bite. Drop off for Dinkins. Corner three. Hansen. Long. With a chance to tie it up with 1:30 left in the half.
Yeah, Hansen only has 11 made threes on the season. Not a bad percentage, but you're probably happy with a possession ending that shot. It's not Alex Lee.
And drops it low. Roughly will make the foul before Bernstein can even get his hands on the ball.
I like that decision there. When things aren't going well from the outside, work it inside. Use your height advantage. Use Josh Bernstein and his ability to not just serve as a scorer, but as a distributor from the low post.
And gentlemen, a couple minutes ago, we were talking about an 18-point basketball game. For those of you who just joined us, this wasn't always a back-and-forth matchup, but now there's only a possession between these two teams. Riley, drop down. Bernstein dribbles right on Hansen. A lot of contact. It's a double from Cooley. Maracas, NESCAC logo, and they've gone cold. Kenoe board around the elbow. Cooley on him.
Williams bench wanted to travel.
Turns around a screen, puts it up. Jamesi, put back. And 38-33 Jumbos with under a minute left in the stanza.
Those are the sort of effort plays that'll get the crowd back into it, get the momentum back on your side.
And Alex Lee is a firecracker on offense. He can't miss a thing.
And he's talking to the crowd. He's chirping a little bit. Real confidence coming from Alex Lee as he has led this Williams team on what has been a massive run to get back in it.
Yeah, and it's been all on his back, Jared. Jamesi wants Bernstein down low, goes over the top, pump fake, and they'll call a foul somewhere.
Yeah, that's probably the
Cooley going up.
I think it was the guy jumping and getting it flipped over.
Yeah, unfortunate for Cooley there. He got charged with the foul and then had to fall from 7 feet.
Yeah, Cooley been a pretty interesting piece off the bench so far this season for Williams. Right there, though, just over pursues a tad. When you've got a guy in front of you who's just so big you want to jump, but Bernstein patient enough to draw the foul. Now, if there is a guy on the Tufts team you want shooting free throws, it's probably Bernstein, as he misses the first. Now it's for Jinx.
If you're Williams.
If you're Williams, correct.
Yates back into the lineup. Williams going with the big three-point shooting guns. It's a sharpshooter lineup as they'll get the ball back with 24.7 on the clock. The shot clock is turned off here in Cousins as Bernstein misses both. Jamesi wants the board. Held off it by Hansen. Dives for it, and they'll call a foul. And now in the bonus, usually we don't have to use both sides of this fouls screen on the Jumbotron, but this is foul number 11 for Tufts in the period.
So with 5 minutes and 32 seconds to go in this half, it was 33-18 in favor of Tufts, a 15-point game. 33-15, an 18-point game. And since then, an absolutely massive run for Williams. It's been a, do the math in my head right quick, 20-5 run for Williams in the span of 5 minutes.
And Williams now collects their 12th point. So 1/3 of points scored for this Williams team now is from the free throw stripe. Tufts overzealous on a lot of these plays with the contact.
We were talking about Alex Lee halfway through this half about how he hadn't taken a shot. He's got 17, about to make it 18 if he hits this free throw.
And 4 for 5 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, and now 6 for 6 from the line. Can't really put up any more efficient shooting than that. Jumbos have been, they punched Williams in the mouth, and Williams punched him right back.
Tufts up 1 now. 10 seconds on the clock. Riley goes up top for Bernstein, finds Maracas. Dribbling down low, step back, Maracas, no. Fighting for the rebound are Roughly and Jamesi, and we have a 1-point game going into halftime. Tufts 38, Williams 37 after a strong end of the period. And I think it's safe to say, as we often do here, that they have a new teammate.
Yeah, I think in one of those timeouts, they swiped right on my friend Momentum because it's all with the Eves right now.
Yeah, our friend Mo is with the Eves for sure. 22-5 run to finish off the half from down 18 to down 1.
And last time these two teams played, Tufts did around the exact same thing and then came in the second half 7 minutes scoreless for Williams. If Williams can reverse that curse today, they'll run away with it. Or maybe it'll be Tufts who punches back. We'll see back shortly. See you soon. And welcome back to this JumboCast presentation of NESCAC men's basketball playoffs between the Tufts University Jumbos and the Williams College East. To hit you, for those of you who are Tufts women's basketball fans, with a quick update on their first round game against Trinity in the playoff. They are now up 29-27 with 6:24 to play in the third. But back to what's going on here at Cousins. At the end of that first half, we saw Williams get a lot of momentum, something we talk about a lot here. Jared, talk to me about how that player was for both teams coming into this game.
Yeah, we like to talk about our good friend Mo. What team is he playing on? Momentum's such a big part of basketball, and in both games between Williams and Tufts so far, it's been all about momentum. Now, coming into this week, it was very clear that Tufts had momentum on their side. 3-0 in their last three, two pretty big blowouts 2 weeks ago, and then a close win in overtime against Bates. But you look at those stats, winning games by 21 points, 86 points per game, shooting over 50%, was not the case for Williams over their last three. 2 losses, 1 win. Both losses pretty big losses of 25 and 24 points respectively. Excuse me. Some news we'll get to in a second. But Williams not a good stretch coming into today. 55.7 points per game, getting outscored. But today, it's really clearly been anyone's ball game. We saw momentum on Tufts side to start out the game when they were hot from 3, and we saw it swing pretty wildly toward Williams towards the end of that first half, and that's how we ended up with not a 1-point game. Sorry if we misled you. Scoreboard was acting up a 2-point game, 38-36.
Yeah, Mo pretty clearly entered the transfer portal with around 6 minutes left in the half. And now he is in purple and gold with a number of other excellent players, including some shooters. Riley, talk about the most lights out guys on this Williams team for me.
Yeah, we look at this Williams team here. They've had some problems. Excuse me. And we look here. They've had some really good scoring from different locations. Inside, it's been Brandon Ruffley shooting at 508. When we have Alex Lee, then he's been inside and outside, a 409 three-point shooter, as well as a 49% shooter overall. And then the guy we really saw take it from the logo in Aiden Yates, shooting 36% from beyond the arc with 123 point attempts coming into today.
Yeah, Williams definitely tests your defense on all 3 levels of the court. We saw that in the first half, and it was really Alex Lee more than anything. Alex Lee, 18 points in the first half, 3 3-pointers, and 7 free throws. He has half of Williams' points so far today. No other player over 8. It's Aiden Yates with 8 points, and the next guy behind him only has 4. So, been a lot of Alex Lee so far.
Well, speaking of things we didn't expect to see, looking at the NESCAC scoreboard right now, I'm seeing double because you look over at the games in Clinton, New York, and Middletown, and they're not showing the results we thought. That one in Clinton, Hamilton up by 7, but the real shocker is the Amherst Wesleyan game. Amherst leads Wesleyan 45-44 halfway through that second half.
Here's Kennelly up top. Looking to get the Jumbos out of the gate, delivering the first punch in the second half as they did in the first. Jamesi will go for the first swing. Misses it, but then catches an uppercut on the second chance.
That's the Larry Bird right there. Follow your own shot and get it and put it back in without anyone getting in your way. I don't love the shot, to be honest, off the bat. The 3-point ball kind of went too far for the Jumbos in the first half, but I love the effort, and that's a Scott Jamesi play right there, getting his own rebound.
See, Jared, I would agree with you as anyone else, but I think you need to get Scott Jamesi looks, and so I don't care that it was a 3. If you're getting him the ball, it's a good thing.
And Bernstein with a block, but then it careens off his own shoulder, staying here.
And look at Bernstein, just patient, goes straight up and rejects the shot with both hands.
Ruffley doesn't want a shot from the elbow. Finds Glatzer off a Yates screen. Down to Ruffley. Turnaround on Jamesi. A lot of rim and nothing. Marakis dribbling right on Glatzer all the way to the bucket. Kicks to the corner. Jumbos now working around the perimeter. Drop off for Riley. Drops it down to Bernstein. Layup.
And I love that possession, and I love getting Bernstein involved early here in the second. They went away from him way too much when that run started for Williams in the first half. He can be a key, even if he's not scoring in every possession. I want to see the ball hit his hands pretty much once a possession because you can use him in the post, in the pick and roll, and get good shots out of it.
Roughly blocked by Bernstein.
And he can do that.
Jumbo's the other way. Kennelly on Lee. Euro blocked by Yates. Chaos and Medford both at blocks. Roughly driving outside. Yates, 3-ball. Got it. Aiden Yates, two-way impact.
5-point swing there. The block from Lee on one end leads the Yates 3.
And Williams once again saying, we're not going anywhere. Do not go gently into that good night. Drop down, Jamesi, layup. No.
Just every inch of the iron, but could not find the net.
Glatzer around the screen. Kick out, roughly, 3-ball. Got it. And that's a once-in-a-blue moon shot, but you'll take it. Bernstein doesn't cover, and Roughly makes him pay.
That's Roughly's 8th made three-pointer on the season. He was 7 of 32, or 21.9% coming into today. That's why you don't close out, but you pay the price.
And the first time since the start of the game, we are even at 42.
Jamesi, it's a pump fake. It's a spin move. It's a kick out. Kennelly doesn't want it. Drop off to Riley instead. Doesn't want his screen. Tie court logo. No. Bernstein fighting for the rebound with Roughly, and Kennelly winds up with it. Hits the deck, and they'll call a foul. Once again, the scrappiness of Liam Kennelly shining through. And you can feel the excitement and the tension in this gym. It is a tied ball game. 17 minutes to play, but both of these teams playing like it's down to the wire at the end. This is the stretch.
It is, and I think you wouldn't want anything less for an NESCAC quarterfinal between two programs with histories like these ones.
And if you told me that the Tufts-Williams game and the Amherst-Wesleyan game would both be just about tied after half, I would have asked when I was going to wake up. Jamesi, kick. Maracas goes for a step. Jamesi, floater. No. Maracas had it for a second, but Hansen knocked it out nicely.
Jumbo's starting to reassert themselves on the boards. That was one thing that Williams was able to bring back to about even in that run where they caught up. But the Jumbo's now killing them again on the offensive glass, and that's now 12 offensive rebounds.
And Jamesi already a double-double.
Maracas, kick out. Jamesi, wide open. 3-ball. No.
Wow.
And Hilly fighting for the rebound. Keeps it in, but no, he doesn't. They catch him with a foot on the line. And Tufts has gone cold from deep.
It's Jamesi's 15th game of the season with 10 rebounds or more, his 13th double-double, but he's been uncharacteristically a little bit shaky around the rim today. Gonna need him to start racking up points in the restricted area if they're gonna get back on top.
Drop down, Yates, and it's the first East lead of the game with 16 to play in the second.
Williams
Kennelly.
crowd starting to make some noise.
Drop down, Kennelly right up. And you know your offense has got a good play when you wind up with William Kennelly wide open underneath. Unexpected source of a bucket. Glatzer now.
Moving screen.
He was setting a screen and he was moving. Alex Lee tipped away by Jamesi, but fighting for it on the ground. Lee winds up with a wide open floater. Nothing. Tip back Glatzer. And give the credit to Isaiah Dickens fighting for it on the ground, but there's a call.
What is the call? I think it's a delay of game warning against the Eafs. Kevin App does not look happy.
Jamesi. Jumbo's looking to make something happen. Jamesi wants a drop back on Riley, doesn't get it. Kennelly across his screen, down low. Riley, pump fake, wide open 3-ball. Count it! And that's exactly what Tufts needed. You saw how high Yates played on that Riley 3-ball, and he uses it to his advantage.
Defense collapses on Jamesi, kicks out, and then an over pursuit on the closeout. Very patient from Riley to take a step and then knock it down.
Dickens, 3-ball. Bernstein on him. Off the top of the glass and somehow in. And don't matter how it gets there. 3 points.
I don't think he called glass.
The bank is open. The bank is open on Saturday. Maracas, no.
We had 0 lead changes in the first half. That's clearly not going to be the case here in the second.
Glatzer drop down Dickens. Hansen doesn't want his 3-ball. Drives onto Messi. Goes straight up. Blocked.
Jumbos have numbers.
The intensity is high. Maracas drive. A little bit of contact from Glatzer. Drops it low. Bernstein, a lot of contact. Goes up anyway. Call's going to be on the floor.
I think the referees have decided that they are calling this game at a different standard here in the second half, because if they were blowing the whistle the way they were in the first half, I'm pretty sure both teams would be over the limit by now.
And Cooley, Dinkins, and Porter now into the Eves lineup.
App very frustrated, asking for an explanation about that call.
Kane now in for the Jumbos. He'll take it out of bounds. Kick to Riley in the corner. Dribbles to his right. A little bit of contact, and they'll call that contact.
Jumbo's doing what Williams did in the first half. That's taking it to the rim, getting their opponent in early foul trouble.
Yeah, and Williams now playing that sort of high-pressure, hand-in-the-face defense that can get you in trouble when they take it to the basket. Kennelly around a Gettings screen. Through the legs. Working around 10 feet out. Drop to Gettings. Contact. And he'll go to the line and shoot 2. Good use of the pump fake.
And a great decision there in the messaging from Brendan Litton. He says, fine, we didn't get to the rim enough in the first half. We're going to go at them. We're going to get them in foul trouble, and we're going to have faith in our free throw shooters when it comes down to it down the stretch.
First free throw shots for either team here in the second half. But 3 personal fouls now on Williams, none on Jumbos.
First one goes.
It's happening so fast you can't keep up, Jared.
Exactly. But clearly a concerted effort, as you pointed out, to draw contact.
Gettings now gets both, so it's knotted at 49. Cooley across the timeline calling the shots. Dickens. Lee now facing a triple, and it's a Kennelly tip. Kane on the run.
Kane did a good job there switching in rotation, but Kennelly, instead of switching, comes over to double, forces the turnover.
Kennelly now outside to Riley. Dinkins not giving him an inch. Round the screen. Drop off for Jamesi. He loves that floater, and there's why. Scott Jamesi, bread and butter.
And he missed that exact shot a couple times earlier today. Uncharacteristic, as I said, of him, but great to see that one go in. It's a staple of the Tufts playbook, the drop off to Jamesi, and that's not an easy shot for a lot of guys, but it's a good one for him.
And Kennelly with another defensive masterclass, taking it away from Lee down low. Gettings. Drop off. Jamesi wants a 3-ball. No. Kane got it away. Kennelly wants a 3-ball. No. Jumbos with 2 golden opportunities, and neither of them able to cash on.
Yeah, you're starting to see the Jumbos just really win it in terms of effort once again. Push the rebounding margin up to 12 now on the game. And I think if you're the Jumbos, the longer you can keep this game where it is while giving rest to Bernstein and Maracas, you're going to feel better about yourself.
Yeah, if your lineup with Quinn Kane on the floor is winning those minutes, you're doing a good job.
Cooley, 3-ball. Got it. And they needed that one. Momentum shifter. Now they're up 1. And it's back and forth, rock'em sock'em robot basketball here in Cousins Gymnasium. Jamesi backing down Porter. There it is. Not this time. And Porter wiping a bead of sweat from his brow. That is not a shot you usually get away with giving to Scotchamessi.
And Williams 4 for 4 from 3 in the second half so far.
Roughly trying to work on Gettings. Drops it off for Lee and then screens. Tipped away by Kennelly. Lee holds on. Kick out. Yates. 3-ball. Got it. And all of a sudden.
4-5 from 3 in the second half.
And Williams cannot miss a 3 since around 7 minutes left in the first. Have they missed one? I think they missed one shot from 3 in the last 16 minutes. Riley, 3-ball. No. Cooley knocks it out. Kane winds up with it. Kennelly fakes a 3. Jamesi also fakes a 3. A lot of these shooters, perhaps with less confidence. And there's why. That's what you go to when it breaks down. Gettings uses the body, lowers the shoulder, chance for a third.
And that is the experience of the captain, Scotchamessi, showing up there. He thought about it. You could see the pause when he thought about that three-pointer and then decided, nope, I see an open teammate. I'm going to find him. Gives it to Gettings, who now has a chance to convert the three-point play.
And Gettings, a senior, he just kind of embodies everything the senior brings to a team. So confident, so consistent, and the team has so much trust in him right there. Gets the ball underneath, strong physical play, and he'll go for the and one.
Gettings, no good this time from the stripe.
Gotta run Williams off the three-point line if you're the Tufts defense.
Shooting 58% from deep in the game are the Eefs, a number you really don't hear about at this level.
Cooley drive, and that's what it opens up for you.
The stop and go from Cooley, great body control. And again, he hasn't been a high-volume scorer this season for Williams, but he has been very consistent off the bench. He plays around 20 minutes a game, up over 40% from the field and from 3. He's a guy that they trust.
Watt, 3-ball. And Tufts has gone colder than ice at the same time as Williams has gone hot. Porter looks to keep it going. And not the shot.
That was a heat check.
Yeah, and it is checked.
And that'll get the crowd going. And Jared, I think you would agree with me that this has to be the time where James Maracas needs to step back up like he did last weekend.
And I think it's got to be like it was last weekend. It's got to be downhill, and it's got to be physical. I think the three-point shot, it just can't be the focus right now. Or maybe not.
Maracas, and there you have it. NESCAC logo pull-up, no good, sidearn. Tufts now needs to find their rhythm, nothing going from outside. When they go inside, it's working.
Yeah, Jumbo's one of their last 8 from beyond the arc.
Hansen. It's a little fake pass. It's a dribble on Bernstein, and it is a touchy little reverse finger roll.
And that's a beautiful move, going right, but coming back up on the left side. You look at this box score, Tufts has 3 more field goals made and 15 more field goal attempts than Williams, and they're down in this game.
Watt, another 3 attempts. This time it's good. The curse is reversed. Zion Watt, 3-ball.
Yeah, as much as you don't want to force the 3 the way you're shooting right now, you still have to show that you're willing to take it from beyond the arc because you can't allow them to just collapse inside. Zion Watt says, fine, you're going to leave me with 10 feet of space. I'm going to make you pay.
But I'm just pointing back out at that box score. Both teams have 10 three-pointers made. The Jumbos, that's 10 on 28 attempts. Williams, that's 10 on 18 attempts. So the efficiency's just been on another level for Williams, combined with the free throw shooting in the first half and just the way they've been playing in sync here in the second. They're up only 3, but they're certainly in control of this one.
I'm going to make a prediction. They're going to come out of this timeout in the zone.
I think it's interesting for sure. We haven't seen that so far today. Not the same matchup as maybe a team like Bates, but if you have Zion Watt, Kennelly, and Maracas on the court, you definitely can build yourself an advantage. I think that would be a wise defensive adjustment from Tufts. The only issue is that zone break, you get a lot of open threes, and then you're compiling on an already existing issue. You got to run Williams off the three-point line.
I mean, I would agree with that under normal circumstances, but the Jumbos have been in man for the last 30 minutes, and they have yet to really force Williams into taking contested threes.
Certainly an adjustment is needed. 9 minutes, 41 seconds to go. I don't believe Tufts thought that they would be down 3 in this one. And I don't think Wesleyan, looking over at their game, they're only up 2 with 5 minutes left to go against Amherst.
Yeah, and Coach Linton, talking to our basketball chair, Harrison Sternberg, the other day, talked about that 3-2 defense you mentioned, Riley. as a secondary they sort of ebb and flow with. They try to keep unpredictable as to when they're going to use it. This time it doesn't look like what it's going to be. They come out in a three-quarter court press, man on man. It's Kennelly and Glatzer, mano a mano around the timeline. Yates wants it bad from way outside. Tips. Bernstein keeps.
Great work there from James Marakis, using his rear end to get the inside position and get that board tipped to Bernstein.
And you get the feeling that every time Yates shoots, he thinks it's going in.
I mean, I think it's going in every time he shoots.
And Marakis was looking for Bernstein. He got a little push in the bag from Dickens. It'll stay here.
Looking at the fouls, a giant disparity. Jumbos have yet to commit a foul in this first half. On the other hand, they are shooting the rest of the way.
And that is and can be the difference in a game like this. So a reversal of the first half, and definitely good news for the Tufts University Jumbos.
Jamesi was wide open.
Back to Marakis. They want Bernstein down low on Dickens. Hansen already looking to give that double. Drop down Jamesi. Yates pushing at it. Watt wants the same exact three, and there's why. Zion Watt brings it back to even with a pair of trays.
And that's how you have to work the offense, inside, outside, get heads swiveling, catch Williams in rotation.
Yates now searching for the three-point line. Dickens from there. No, he got it off the backboard earlier. This time, no. Drop down, Hansen. Swinging around on Marakis. Wants a turn move. Gets it up over Bernstein. And it's a brilliant play from Hudson Hansen to go 2-on-1.
That was ridiculously impressive from Hudson Hansen.
Marakis around a Jamesi screen. Doesn't want the toss up. Kicks it out to the corner instead. Kennelly, one dribble, mid-range. No. Bernstein taps it out to Marakis. And
Watt in the corner.
Jumbos with a second chance. Starts up top. Glatzer all out on Marakis. That little in and out move he loves. Step back. Blingo.
I like getting Marakis in a rhythm, as you kind of talked about, Riley, and that's the way to do it. Off the dribble, he's so good in the mid-range area, so good around the rim. I want to see more of that from the Tufts offense and then make Williams adjust.
And
is that the first time he's ever been called for a reach?
Yeah. Bernstein caught reaching, and to be honest, if I'm Bernstein, I'm a little bit happy to hear the whistle blow there, because when you commit to that interception and Dickens gets it, he's got nothing but space between him and the basket. 7 minutes and 30 seconds to play, 61-61. Are you not entertained?
I'm entertained, David.
A back and forth second half of basketball here in the first round of the NESCAC tournament.
Jumbo's going to play very tall. The shortest player on the floor for them is Marakis at 6'3".
And a quick check-in. Tufts women's basketball up 3 with 5 minutes left over Trinity.
Hansen, pump fake on Bernstein, drives to his right. Nothing. Jamesi the other way, swings it to Marakis with a head of steam. And there's contact all the way from around the stripe to the bucket. He'll go to the line.
And it's exactly what we're talking about. And it's exactly what won Tufts a very close game last week against Bates. You play strong defense, and then you run off the rebound. You run in transition. Marakis has the type of speed, he has the type of gear that even when he's going 1-on-2, 1-on-3, doesn't really matter. He's probably going to end up in a position that's good for him, whether at the line or finishing at the rim. Right there. Doesn't matter that he missed it. That's another foul on Williams, and it's going to continue to pay benefits for the Jumbos down the stretch.
Yeah, James Marakis, for all he can do in the settled set offense, he is at his best running the floor with men in front of him.
100%.
And one thing about Marakis, as he misses the second free throw, he drives so strong and then he lets up so gently to play that layup, something that's really hard to do with such a head of steam.
The stop and start ability, as I've always said, just really good body control, and it's come a long way over the last couple years.
Dinkins around the screen, has space on Marakis and makes it count off the back.
And that's a tough finish. It's a tough finish on good defense from Marakis, but kept him on the hip and used the right hand to just keep Marakis far enough away from him to get it off the glass. This game just going back and forth right now.
And Looks like the call is going to be on Alex Lee of the Eeps coming through that screen.
There are good fouls. And then there's what Alex Lee just did, which is get caught with your hand in the cookie jar with Maracas in slow-mo 30 feet from the basket.
And this is exactly what killed Tufts in that back end of the first half.
8 fouls already on Williams. You're right, they're going to be shooting the rest of the way, and Williams not letting up with the physicality, at least thus far.
Maracas, no, they can't make it count. You need to get at least one on those, and they're still down a bucket. A point, rather, a free throw. Yates up top. Roughly fakes the pass back to Yates. Drop off, Dinkins. To his right, seeing options. Roughly, turn around, goes for backboard, and that's all he gets. Bernstein. To Messi, looking for an option. Hansen does well to get in the lane. Watt wants another three, and he is the Jumbo's saving grace when it counts.
Zion Watt now in double figures. He's got 12, and the crowd to their feet here in Medford.
Nothing is working but with a notable exception, and that is the Zion Watt deep three ball. Jumbo's up 2.
And Kevin App just got hit with a warning from the officials for some commentary after the timeout was called.
Career high already for Watt in both points and 3-pointers made. 12 points, a new career high. 4 3-pointers made, or excuse me, 3 3-pointers made. Also a career high. So, no, 4. Excuse me, 4 career high, 12 points career high. He has been a saving grace for the Jumbos off the bench here in the second half. When no one else seems to be able to get a bucket, it has been Zion Watt who has bailed them out. And he has come, I think we've seen this development over the season, just such an athletic, long guy who can shoot and plays with such dexterity on the defensive end, and he has been the difference in what is a very tentative 2-point lead.
And I think that's what's so valuable about him and Dylan Riley. They have, and I can't foresee Linton changing this, the dual responsibility of Alex Lee and Aiden Yates the rest of the way. They are probably, with the exception of John Medley, who's not suited up today, the only 2 Jumbos who could really lock those 2 down and force the East to run through other players.
Yeah, and we've talked about this so much today, but the power of the 3 ball in developing the other facets of your offense. Since Tufts has gone cold, Williams has been able to compress a little bit, and that's allowed them to take away so many other opportunities. A much needed string of 3 balls from Zion Watt for the Jumbos.
Checking in one more time on the Wesleyan game. It was briefly a 6-point lead for Wesleyan, but Amherst came back. Now a 1-point lead for Wesleyan with 1 minute 47 seconds left to go. We'll keep you updated.
Jumbo
now a 3-point lead. And we called it. So took a while. There were 6 minutes left here today, but this is the zone that has caused so many problems for opposing offenses in the last couple weeks. We'll see. Does Williams have a break right now? Jumbo's doing their thing.
Yates, 3 ball, nothing. And it's staying here.
Linton asking questions about that. Josh Bernstein thought it was jumbo ball. And this is where a zone can often break down when you have to defend it the other way, facing the inbounds from beneath your own basket.
Zion Watt pointing the other way. Referees conferring.
Jamesi definitely let that ball go, so he thought it was off of an Eve. Crowd letting you know what they think.
What do you think they're saying? And it's jumbo ball.
And it'll go the other way. Whatever that side ref had to say was convincing because the decision is changed. Kind of looked like 2 players swiped at it from here, but the last one was apparently an Eve.
To be honest, Jared, I think they were putting in their Picante DoorDash order.
What you thinking after the game?
If you order it now, I'll drive and pick it up for us.
Also, it's tough ball.
Jamesi at the elbow. Watt wants another one.
He checked.
If it ain't broke, Zion Watt. Uno, dos, Tracy, a quattro. What can he do?
Zion Watt making his case to be the most improved player on this roster this year.
And the crowd getting going. It's the Zion Watt show. That's got to be a good feeling. Now on the other end, Barely missed an and one.
And a smart play from Hansen. Jumbo's with the momentum. He drives strong and makes contact the first priority.
A fourth now on Josh Bernstein. He's one of 2 in this game with 4. The other, Brendan Ruffley, for the Eves.
So one more, and Bernstein is out of there. Now, that would be a pretty big loss for this Tufts team. Bernstein, not huge on the scoring column today, but he's done a good job on the defensive end. 3 blocks on the day. You do have Gettings off the bench as well, and obviously he had a great game last week. He has 4 points today, but he has 3 personal fouls. And then Bobby Stewart would be the next guy to step up.
And Hansen gets the pair to fall. A fruitful trip to the stripe. 1 possession now between these teams.
So not surprising. Bernstein going to hit the bench. You're going to get some Gettings here. Try to save Bernstein for that stretch run towards the end. See if they look for Zion Watt again. That guy is cooking with grease right now.
If I know Brandon Linton, he's going to use Zion Watt as a decoy here to look to get some off-ball movement.
Riley now dribbling around. Drop down to Gettings. Reverse! Oh, and it's pretty. The body control from Truman Gettings to go up and under. 5-point lead.
Gettings works the strong side dunker spot, just fills it in when Riley comes through, and an easy finish, but a beautiful finish for Gettings.
Roughly, Yates off a screen. Foul away. No. Kennelly winds up with it.
Man,
Yates,
Yates,
a great job there from Gettings, switching on top of that screen to prevent Yates from getting the open look.
and Yates is a gunner, man. He wants that shot, and he's not afraid to take it.
And I think if he's wide open on that play, he hits it. But you're right, Riley. Gettings' close makes him go off that side foot, and that's what causes the miss. Kennelly swings to the corner. It's such a messy finish. Oh, makes him sit down.
He made him do the splits.
And he touched earth. All of a sudden, the volume has gone way up here in Cousins.
Oh, my Lord.
Momentum firmly back in the Tufts column. 72-65 now the score. This didn't look like this type of game a couple minutes ago, but I think it's a combination of 2 things. One of them is Zion Watt just on fire from deep, and it's a demoralizing thing as an opposing team when one guy just can't miss. But I do think the over-physicality of the Williams defense early in this half has opened up some opportunities for the Jumbos. And when the momentum's on their side, you can just feel they got a little bit more comfortable. And that Truman Gettings basket a possession ago, even with Watt open in the corner, I think kind of sums that up for this offense. Patient, but confident, and now the crowd is in it, and they feel good. Again, this has been a game back and forth, back and forth. Do not be surprised if Williams comes out of this timeout firing.
And I mean, Jared, that's the same thing that happened in the first half. When the Jumbos built that 18-point lead, they got overzealous in the passing lanes. They made some bad fouls. They took shots from too far outside. Here, when Williams went on a run, you mentioned that as one of the same problems for them. 8 fouls now in the stanza, and that's what's allowed the Jumbos to sort of hold on and develop this not at all protected, to be clear, 7-point lead.
Speaking of fouls, a dead ball foul there on Dylan Riley with the hold.
Look, we saw Williams go on basically a 22-5 run in 4 minutes plus in the first half. It's a 7-point game, 4 minutes left. This game is anything but even close to being over.
I don't love that move from Linton, putting Kennelly back on Alex Lee. I liked the length of Watt.
And to look away from your screen right now would be a grave mistake because this is still anybody's basketball game. Hudson Hansen with Gettings on him. Kennelly to the deck. Gettings grabs it, and it's jumbo ball.
Come on, Liam Kennelly. What a play on the defensive end. Just gets the strip and then puts his body on the line. Tommy points for Kennelly every single game.
Death, taxes, and Liam Kennelly diving for loose balls. One of life's few certainties. 3-ball, Riley. Cash!
While the Jumbos throws out halfway through this game, they have turned it back on here in the last 5 minutes.
They turned off the heat and let it simmer, but now it's on high. Alex Lee can't get it to go, and jumbo ball with a double-digit lead. And Kennelly a little bit slower across the timeline now. Watt around the screen. He wants something. Pull-up jumper way short. It looked like he wanted contact. And
It was tipped.
it's a block. Tipped. And give the credit to Cooley coming across a strong getting screen to still be there.
Women's game has drawn closer. It's now tied with 30 seconds left to go against Trinity, and Wesleyan up 4 over Amherst with 10 seconds left. They look like they are going to hold on.
Yeah, Mammoth's made them earn it every step of the way, but Wesleyan will be hosting the semifinals and final.
Jamesi put back. And that's what Scott Jamesi does. Mid-range floaters, rebounds, and put back layups. That's the arsenal, and the Jumbos, with around 2 minutes of pretty much perfect basketball, they're up 12.
Jumbos on a 15-2 run have put this one pretty much away.
And I think these two halves have mirrored each other in some sense. First half, we saw the Jumbos come out firing, go up big. Big Williams run to bring it to even. Second half started off Williams on fire. They were 5 of 5 to start the second half from 3. Now 5 of 11, missed 6 in a row. Very similar to the first half where the Jumbos started off 6 of 7 from 3 and then missed 6 or 7 in a row. We've seen really a game that you could divide down the middle, and it looks even on both sides, and it's just been an entertaining battle from start to finish.
So 2:30 to play. We've seen crazier things in this gymnasium than a 12-point deficit erased in 2.5 minutes, to be clear. Tufts with a solid run. If they can keep this pressure high and keep the shots falling, they should be able to close it out. But Williams, I mean, as you said, Jared, you've seen them do similar. If they can catch the hot hand and get a few consecutive stops, we could be looking at a closer basketball game.
But if Tufts wins, you got to put a lot of the onus on Zion Watt and Dylan Riley. Both of them have taken 8 and 7 shots respectively. All of those have been threes, and they hit 10 of them. 30 points combined, all from behind the arc.
So the sophomore class, in other words, has delivered.
There's what we talked about earlier, diving in, looking for that interception, but it's a foul on Hansen.
One of the very few things you want to avoid if you're the Jumbos right now, stopping the clock, giving Williams extra chances.
Lee wants it around the Tufts logo. Cooley. They're looking for a shot quick, and they need it. Drop down to Porter, drop down to Hansen. Some quick passing around the outside. Lee wide open. Good look from Hansen, and it's good.
Great pass there, but I still like the decision from Linton to go into the zone. Yeah, you can break it down and get open looks from distance, but it's just going to take time off the clock to do so.
And give the credit as well to Coach Kevin Knapp. That's your perfect play right now. Find your guys around the low blocks and be ready to kick out. Alex Lee is your top three-point shooter, and there's nobody near him. Kennelly drive. Pull up. Hello! William Kennelly. Showtime in Medford. Circus shot pull up, and there's a foul too.
Stops at a dime, throws it up, gets the and one. His third and fourth points of the game. He also has 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and 4 steals. Back-to-back games with 4 steals. Just continues to be a pest on both ends of the court.
And he's always been that feisty defender, and we talked about it earlier. His ability to make these drives, go up strong, find guys outside, create chances for both himself and his teammates on offense, developed so much in his sophomore season. Lee now driving right strong, going straight up, and the foul's on the floor before the shot.
Big distinction there on that call. Definitely a foul. Lee, I think, wanted and might have a good case that should have been a continuation.
Yeah, you could go either way on that. Definitely contact on the drive and only a dribble or two up after the contact. Tufts is happy it's a continuation. Not a continuation, excuse me.
Williams going to have to start fouling here.
Yeah, missed 3 ball from Yates. 1 minute and 30 now left in the game as Kennelly crosses the timeline. And Williams, perhaps not fouling on this play, going for a steal first. Jamesi, yep, there's Cooley looking for it. Drop back, Jamesi, there it is. No. A bunch of uncharacteristic misses from that spot tonight for Jamesi. Not tonight, it's around 3:30. Lee, 3 ball, no, front iron. And the wheels have fallen off at an inopportune moment for Williams.
Yeah, it might not have been the most efficient night for Scott Jamesi, but still a phenomenal stat line. 17 points, 14 rebounds. for the junior.
And 7 assists to go on top of it, almost a triple-double.
Kennelly up top. They'll use all 30 seconds.
While the Jumbos are dribbling out the clock, I can give you an update from Hartford. That game is going to overtime at 48 apiece.
Maracas drops it up, and it'll go the other way. Last tipped, I believe, by Kennelly.
They might need to start sending out security, preventing crowd from storming the field here.
It's only the first round, guys. Go on.
Porter up top. 26 seconds left. Hanson, 3-ball, no. Lee wanted a tip back, and he got fouled. He'll go to the line with this game just about over. Lee, the junior, may see his team's NESCAC campaign end tonight, but chances at redemption aplenty next season, and he's shown today that he's the kind of player who can take a team through tournaments like these.
And you look at the jump he took from last season to this season, particularly from behind the arc. I mean, I want to know what he did because clearly it's not a fluke. To go from 28% to over 40, we saw him shoot today, and it's very real. He is maybe one of the best shooters in the entire NESCAC. So another offseason to work, and you never know what the next step could be.
Well, him and another year to develop Aiden Yates, and this Williams team could be scary next year.
Yeah, having a freshman who's confident enough on the ball and has that shooting ability to be a staple in your starting lineup during his first campaign, really what you want as a coach and something to develop over 4 years. It won't be this year, though. Williams sees their NESCAC hopes ended today by the Jumbos, who will go on to round 2. They take this one in a high-scoring affair, 80-70.
Yeah, it's just we questioned when I talked to Brandon Layton yesterday about the Bates game last weekend. And I asked him, was it a good thing that your team had to deal with that? He said, unequivocally, yes. Today, we found out why. The team used what they learned last weekend when they got punched in the mouth by the Bobcats to respond to the Eves here today and get the win.
I had the exact same thought. It echoed the Bates game in a lot of ways, and they pulled out and pulled ahead even earlier than they did last week. One word to describe this game was just electric. In both halves, the back and forth energy, the energy that the crowd brought, the three-point shooting, both Zion Watt and Dylan Riley for the Jumbos, the rebounding from Jamesi. Everyone in the Tufts rotation really put their mark on this game. You saw Liam Kennelly off the bat from the beginning of the game come out with that defensive pressure, and it went a long way. This is a win that you want to hang your hat on if you're Tufts. You're happy to be going through the next round, and only good things ahead, hopefully.
And give Williams their credit. A hot shooting day. Tufts 42%, Williams 41% from outside the arc. Both teams not afraid to put on a show when it counted. Williams, especially in that middle stanza. You said it, Jared. You could feel the electricity pulsing through this stadium all day. And don't go anywhere on the broadcast because we'll be back very shortly with an interview with Zion Watt.
Welcome back here to JumboCast. Riley Ano here with Zion Watt. Zion, a career high in scoring today, and it seemed like you stepped up exactly when your team needed you. What was going through your mind in that second half when you started to just catch fire from beyond the arc?
Man, I mean, I'm told all the time just shoot the ball, so that's exactly what I did. I was feeling it, so I just kept letting it fly. I mean, teammates were getting me open. They were getting good passes, so I just letting it fly, and they were going in. So
How much has this team's kind of defensive mentality been a part of your game? Because it seemed in that second half when Alex Lee and Aiden Yates were going off, Coach Litton turned to you and Dylan and said, shut them down, and you guys delivered.
Yeah, I mean, the end of that first half, we kind of gave up some offense to them. So, I mean, in halftime huddle, we just were told, lock them dudes up. They're the only people that are, making them getting them in the game. So we went out and locked them up and came out victorious.
Gotta ask about that last three-pointer you took, the fourth one. Because from the moment it left your hand, it seemed like everyone in the building knew it was going in. Did you know that when you let it go?
I had a pretty good feeling when it went off my hand, and it went in. So I was happy about the result.
All right, one more question before I let you go celebrate. Yeah. You guys get a chance to go back to Connecticut, get some redemption. What is the feeling going into the NESCAC final weekend, knowing you guys have a chance to put another number on a banner?
Man, I mean, that's our goal the whole year, to get another banner, win a championship. So we got couple tough games. We're gonna have a good week of prep, and we're gonna go out and do our job.
Awesome, thanks, Zion.
Thanks, Riley.
All right, at this time, I'd like to thank the other members of my crew, Sebastian Gold, Noah Goldstein, and Sophia Kahn on the cams, Micah Baum and Jake Flossie doing a phenomenal job directing, as always. For my fellow color commentator, Jared Cohen, our wonderful play-by-play guy, David Latham, I've been Riley Daniel saying so long from Cousins. We'll see you next Saturday out on Bello.